one last time. Hey guys, the Black Critic Guy, and today, March 3rd, is a very, very monumental day. Why, you may ask? Well, for two major reasons. First, this video you're watching right now is my 1000th video. Yes, thank you so much. I never thought I would ever reach this milestone, but hey, here we are, and thank you guys for sticking with me for 1000 videos. It must have been really painful. And the second reason is I am reviewing the last film to star Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, called Logan. Now, Logan begins many years into the future where the mutant population has dwindled due to no new mutant births and possible mutant hunting. We follow a much older and weaker Wolverine who works as a limo driver in order to make some money to care for a sick and senile Xavier. Through a series of circumstances, he encounters a young girl who is like him in many ways and now must protect her from an evil organization that wants to experiment on her and bring her to a safe haven up north, slashing enemies along the way. Now, as mentioned earlier, this is the final film to star Hugh Jackman as the titular and iconic character Logan, aka Wolverine. It's also the final appearance of Patrick Stewart as Professor Xavier, as he too stated that he's going to be retiring from the role after this film. So Logan is basically an end of an era type film, as we have seen these two portray these characters for close to 20 years, and now it's all come to an end. So there was no way that I was missing out on seeing Logan. I grew up with Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and I will be there for his last film, and I was super excited. The trailers look freaking awesome. It's freaking rated R, which got me really excited, so we could see some really intense, gruesome, and gritty action from Wolverine, the type of action we've always wanted to see. So I could not wait to see Logan, and after watching the film, what did I think about it? Well, let's get into it, shall we? First thing worth mentioning about Logan was its action. This is, without a doubt, the most gruesome action I have ever seen in a Wolverine film. And it's exactly the kind of action we all have been waiting to see in a Wolverine film. You guys remember that one spectacular action sequence in X-Men Apocalypse where Wolverine is mowing down guys left and right? We'll take that one scene from X-Men Apocalypse and extend it by 2 hours. That's the sort of high-octane action you get to witness in Logan. It's exhilarating, bloody, and oh so fun to watch, with so many awesome and gratifying kills. I mean, you got head piercings, limbs flying everywhere, blood spewing all over the place. It's just over-the-top action goodness. The acting is tremendous, especially Hugh Jackman as Logan, aka Wolverine, and Patrick Stewart as Professor Xavier. No surprise there. This was honestly the most challenging and riveting performance I've seen Hugh Jackman give as the character Logan/Wolverine, as he had to portray a much older, weaker, and vulnerable Logan while still maintaining the reluctant hero persona as well as his signature ferocity. And in my opinion, he pulled it off perfectly. And I expect no less. It was a near perfect swan song for a character that has been his for 17 years. And I will miss him dearly after this film. Patrick Stewart also tried something new with his portrayal of Charles Xavier, a more nuanced approach to the character. Instead of the smart, reasonable, and collected Professor Xavier that we have known and loved for many years, he's senile, mentally unstable, and crass. It was quite jarring to see, to say the least. I mean, the once great Professor X brought down to a doddering old fool. My heart did break. But it made for one of the most memorable and emotional, heart-wrenching performances in the entire film that is just neck and neck with Hugh Jackman's performance. And the little girl that plays Laura was pretty good too. A feisty little one she is. You do not want to get on her bad side ever. And it should go without saying that the actors, as well as the characters that they play, had convincing and dynamic chemistry, with Logan and Charles being the strongest. No surprise there. I mean, these two have been in almost every single X-Men film together. The story here is solid and engaging for the most part. Many high points, many low points. I enjoyed the journey aspect to the story. There's a lot of great emotional scenes, a lot of kick-ass action scenes. It's a well-told, well-structured, and enthralling story. And it had a very Western vibe to it throughout the entire film, which makes sense given what type of story it is. And it also has a very fitting ending for a story like this. And lastly, all the technical aspects ranging from cinematography, visual effects, sounds, and all that jazz were well done. So it seems as though Logan was the perfect send-off for Hugh Jackman as the Wolverine character. Now he can ride triumphantly into the sunset, right? 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 Well, actually, I do have a couple issues with the film Logan. And I feel like many of you have your Wolverine claws shooting out of your fists like, what? How could you find anything wrong with this movie? This movie's an epic masterpiece, Tony. What are you talking about? I hate you. I'm gonna unsubscribe and dislike this video. Oh, you're a terrible person. Calm down. Listen to what I have to say. And remember that overall, I love this film. It's a really enjoyable film. But it is not without its flaws. My biggest problem with this film was that there was way too much downtime that ruined the overall flow of the pacing. Now look, I completely understand that these downtime moments are meant to give the audience some time with the characters as well as a break from the action scenes. But some of these downtime moments stretch on for far too long, like the first act with Logan, Charles, and this one mutant named Caliban living together in an abandoned smelting plant. Others just didn't really add much to the characters. They didn't really explore or develop these characters in these downtime moments, like the hotel scene with Charles, Logan, and Laura. And then others were completely ineffectual and superfluous to the entire story. Like that entire segment where Logan, Charles, and Laura spend the night at a farming family's house. What was the point of having that? In fact, that entire scene felt eerily similar to the scene in X-Men Origins Wolverine, where Wolverine stays at Ma and Pa Kent's farming house and they end up biting the dust. A multitude of these scenes could have easily been trimmed or completely removed. They didn't need to be in the film. The main antagonists weren't really that memorable, nor were they all that threatening. Not to mention that they're just the same recycled evil corporation experimenting on mutants that we have seen a bunch of times in other X-Men / Wolverine films. Boring! But I will give some credit to that one villain who constantly wore shades in the film and had that metal hand. He had a flair of coolness to him that made him pretty interesting, but as the film went on, he was just relegated to mere henchman status. Boring! And the last major problem I found with Logan was I wish they gave us more bonding moments between Logan and Laura. And sure, the film does give us a handful that were serviceable, but nothing to truly drive home that they built a strong, deep, and powerful connection throughout the entire film. It was lacking, to say the least. Now, these next few points are just mere nitpicks. They're not cons against the film. They don't detract from the film, but they did personally irritate me throughout. One of the biggest ones is I wanted more explanation as to what happened to the other X-Men. Now, it's heavily implied that Charles had something to do with it, but it's never explicitly told to us. And I personally believe that at this point, it would have been nice to kind of get an explicit explanation as to what happened to all of our favorite X-Men. Where are they? Are they still around? They could have explained a little bit more of that. Another big nitpick I had, and this is rich coming from me, was the constant cussing throughout the film. Now, far be it for me to complain that a film had too much cussing in it. I mean, fuck, I cuss way more than I should in my own videos. And look, I don't have a problem with excessive cursing in a film. In fact, I prefer it and thoroughly enjoy it, as long as it comes off natural. The problem here in Logan is that many of these scenes that are laced with profanity come off as super forced. Like they just had to throw in a fuck and a shit here because they got an R rating, which I'm grateful for. I'm thankful that you finally gave us a R-rated Wolverine film, as it gave us some of the best action we've ever seen in a Wolverine film. But just because you're R-rated doesn't mean that you have to cuss every 3 to 5 seconds. I mean, as long as you do it now and again, that's perfectly fine. In fact, it would be more effective. Also, hearing Patrick Stewart's version of Charles Xavier cursing so much was just so weird and unsettling. Now, Logan, I understand, as he's always been a character that's known to fly off the hinges, you know, go off the handle. But with Xavier, I always saw him as a man of intelligence, integrity, and elegance who wouldn't stoop to using such vulgar and petty speech. So to hear him cursing so much in this film, I didn't know how to feel. I was kind of taken aback, like, oh, not Charles Xavier. All the characters that should never cuss in my presence, it's Charles Xavier. I don't like seeing Charles cussing so much. And look, I understand that it fits the type of character that he is in this film, as he is losing his mind, he is senile, so of course he's more prone to these petty outbursts. But that doesn't mean it changes how I feel about it. I still can't see Charles Xavier cursing. But overall, guys, despite its few problems, I still found Logan to be a superb film that I thoroughly enjoyed watching from beginning to end. It is my second favorite Wolverine film after The Wolverine, and I thought it was an excellent send-off to an iconic character and an iconic role portrayed by Hugh Jackman. And he will sorely be missed. But I am very thankful that for his last film as Wolverine, he made it one hell of a film that I highly recommend that you all go see. In fact, I don't even need to tell you guys to go see it because you already have seen it or are going to see it regardless of what I say. But as always, guys, I'm not the end-all be-all opinion when it comes to Logan. I would love to know what you guys thought about the film as well. Did you absolutely adore it? Is it your favorite Wolverine film? It's the best superhero film you've ever seen? Or is it really boring and slow and you really couldn't get into it? And let me know, what is the best performance Hugh Jackman has ever given as Wolverine in your opinion? And also, what is the best last performance from an actor playing an iconic role? Comment below, let me know, and stay tuned tomorrow. Hopefully you'll have an anime review, and you will definitely have the next BCG mail now that the 1000th video has been done. Now it'll be my 1001 video, so stay tuned for that. And as always, if you'd like to support the Black Critic Guy just a smidge more, why not donate to my Patreon account? There's a link in the description, and if you'd like to send me any BCG fan mail, why not send it to this PO box right up here. And if you'd like to be a part of the Black Critic crew, not miss out on a single awesome video on this channel, please hit that subscribe button, that bell button down there. Like this video if you really enjoyed it. And I'm Tony II, the Wolverine lover known as the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube.